much as like
whole emergency services that
we only have that one out there right now, right? We have all these others. Don't we have one over?
Hello, everyone. It is 4:30, so I'd like to begin. I ask you to please rise and join me for a moment of silence, and we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you get roll call, please.
Pete Hamill.
Here.
Ken Snyder.
Here.
Brad Hint. Tom Eggers.
here.
Wayne Barahona.
All right, and then we need approval for the agenda.
So moved.
Support. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Barahona.
Aye.
Okay, next item up is our public forum. Anyone wishing to address the council at this time? Any written statements at all?
None.
Okay. Moving on then to the consent agenda. We'll need
Move
approval.
we accept the consent agenda.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Snyder.
Aye.
Barahona.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
All right, let's move on then to new business, item number 6, and open the public hearing regarding the proposed text amendments to the zoning code. Any comments you have on that, Sam?
Not unless you have any questions for me.
Have we received any written comments at all? from
None.
Anybody regarding this either? Okay. Then let's take a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, and then I guess the question would be, do you want to move this on to a second reading?
I would recommend a second reading.
Okay. So that would be at our next scheduled council meeting then?
Yes.
Next week, or the one in,
No,
the
it would
special
be
one, or the?
December 6th.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Barahona.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
So it's all we do with that.
Just approve first reading and
Okay.
second reading's on December 6th.
Okay. All right, we've set the special meeting there. Looks like we're ready for reports. We have with us, oh,
If
go
we could
ahead.
just get a motion to set the special meeting since it's on the agenda.
Okay, what didn't we do, what was the motion we just passed?
The ordinance to the second reading.
Yeah, doesn't that cover it?
No, the special council meeting is something different. Maybe I should explain that real quick.
Okay, we
This
haven't.
was
We
the
have, we
ordinance.
have 6A and we have 6B.
And then he said,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, all
yeah,
right, okay.
Yep.
No, so you're one, okay. So then, yes, we need, go ahead, if you want to explain that, and
Yeah,
then we can.
I'll just briefly explain it. So this involved, this is for state economic development application for the H.C. Lane buildings, the two former Wolf buildings. There were 2 public hearings for this. One public hearing was set on September 19 and should have occurred on October 4. The second public hearing did occur on October 18. I forgot to put the item on the 4th, and we didn't discover it until this morning, so we need to have a special council meeting to keep the requests for these grants on track. So that is the reason, and I apologize for my error.
Okay. So then you want a motion then for setting that meeting for next week?
Yes.
Okay,
Support. So moved.
okay, we have motion, support for that? Support. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Farahona.
Aye. Okay. Now, Tricia, we will listen to your report.
Can't happen. Hello, thank you for having me, Mayor, Council. I believe the calendar year-end report was attached and included in your packets. And I will just give a brief under 5-minute discussion. I told Angie I'd keep it to 2 to 10 minutes. Just kidding. So as the first page, we like to just recap and give you a visual of how many events we've had this year. This is based on November 10th, I think, is when we prepared this. So things may change a little bit this month and next month, so the last month and a half would be estimates. But we are in line to have 173 events this year. One of those did cancel in September, so 172 were actually fulfilled or planned to be fulfilled the last of December, but we are still taking some corporate bookings throughout the end of the year, so long as the calendar allows for that. I also include results from our surveys. We always send out a survey to all of our clients just to ask why they chose us. As always, the view, the open floor plan, location. Our staff is mentioned frequently because we have a phenomenal staff that does offer an exceptional experience. But some of the other things, and I've pointed this out in years before too, is the planning ahead of time, having the food, gas, lodging, and having that second hotel has really been key. An event that we had just this past couple weeks ago, they were able to hold their regional event here because we now have enough hotel space. So that was nice to hear. Some other feedback that we've gotten is the airport and the proximity of the airport and having that. So having people be able to fly in and attend meetings is also convenient. So also, if you have questions while I ramble, you are welcome to stop me. Over the past, 6 years we've been open. That's crazy. Over 1,000 events have been held. There's another chart just to show you in comparison. What's the difference? 173 events, 55 of those were wedding. Our plan was to be more than weddings. We are more than weddings if you look at that. This year alone, 77 of our 173 events were corporate. So most of our events are corporate social. We have a lot of returning customers. We have some that just book their annual stuff ahead of time, and we have many new clients that come in. And we still love the wow factor when they walk in and are just blown away by the open space, the accommodating space, and the flexibility. Let's see. Then I did prepare a manager's report at the end, just going over events. Our staff, we have 36 altogether staff. We do have 2 leaving, but we'll eventually replace. Next year, 2024, we do have 43 weddings booked. So one thing we talked about in our board meeting was, I can say we had 55 weddings last year, and I count the wedding that the day, but also if they paid for the day prior, that's a wedding event. So about 1/3 of our weddings do pay for the day prior to decorate. So in 2024, we already have 43 wedding type events booked with limited availability, and they're going fast. 2025, we do have a few weddings confirmed, long engagements. And then our hosted events, we did lose out on Chef Suzanne due to her health, but she is planning to come and do some occasional cooking classes. We do partner with NCC on some continuing instructional courses that are without credit, more on the social side, but to give the community like leisure learning and socializing. And then working with the SEDC as far as their Labor Day events. One of the other things I did that's not in the report is I like to see how many people walked through our doors this past year. And I calculated up as best as I could. We're just shy of around 20,000 people that walked through in 2023, and that's not counting the car show or the election. So I'm sure we're well over 20,000. And it's remarkable to think of how many people walk through, see our space, get to use our space. How am I doing on time? Good?
You're good.
Awesome. We did have our bridal fair last week. We've been doing that 5 years now. It's very well attended. We get great feedback, and people from all over, not just Northwest Iowa, but we still pull from Nebraska, South Dakota, Illinois, Missouri. So maybe their home is here in Sheldon, and they come back to visit and attend, which is nice. It's been a remarkable year. We have great staff, great clients. Our calendar, though we say we have 173 events, it does take a good day's worth of work, if not more, to execute an event. So we are busy, 2 full-time and the 1 part-time. It's, yeah, just when we think we have downtime to catch up on filing or something meaningless or just petty, it's a surprise, and there's usually the phone call, emails, and people stopping in. Let's see, the CIP, we'll go over that more when budget time comes, but it's the usual. We're still looking into a storage structure on the east side of the building. Hopefully we can get something in the works soon to alleviate some of our stress. We're looking at some kind of wall, retaining wall, landscaping wall to the south, just to give us definition of space between the pavilion and then where the rec trail and the public. So that way people can be savvy of knowing when an event is happening and to refrain from approaching, hopefully. And then last, with our CIP, parking lot to the west someday, because we do hurt and need extra parking. One last thing I'll point out, I always like to think what event stood out the most this year to me, and it was just recently. We had somebody rent our parking lot to host an auction. So we were like, well, how do we pay for that? How would you figure that out? So they said, well, if we were to have 100 people for a corporate, what space? Well, we'd have the Prairie Queen room probably. We'll pay that fee to use your parking lot for an auction. And it was awesome. They came, pulled up, did the auction, maybe 1 or 2 people used the restroom, and they left. And it was successful on their side. Right? It was awesome. Yeah, come on over. So any questions that you would have for us, for me, or that I can relate to our staff?
And speaking about parking, it seems to me when we talked early on about cobblestone coming, that there was going to be a shared parking. Is that happening, or did that go away, or?
I think that was put on the back burner for now. Cobblestone, they're wonderful over at Cobblestone. I think if we ever needed something, we could talk with them, but I don't know that the space they have is accommodating for us. When you're out there every day, their parking lot tends to be full with people overnight. So I don't remember where we left off on that, Todd, but there was that opportunity. But I think we would like to save, personally, if you ask me, I'd like to save our pennies and use it on our own parking. That would be closer to the event space rather than far away. One of the points is because people will park on our grass before they'd find a pavement further north. So I don't think I think it's on the back burner, but not a discussion that'll be picked up anytime soon.
And originally, they were not going to put it in. There's just space there. We would still have to put that in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a question of where we think it ought to be better. But yes, there's an allocation of space, but it's not, they were not going to install a parking lot. That was still on us.
There is a buy-in into it.
So now, whether it should be out there or, that's a good
Mm-hmm.
question. I, for the most part, over the past number of boards, we've all thought that that's a long walk out there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Especially in that wind. So we've had some events like maybe Demco came or Maintainer, and we could have 350, 450, not 450, we'll say 400. And when they all come in their cars, they park respectively in the grass, but we did lose out on that north part with the hotel coming there, which is great, but they still will find spaces to the east and in between the parking. They've not yet gone to the west, I think because we have the landscaping, those little berm hills. For the most part, people are respectful of it, but because of the large events that we do have, and I think with having the new rec trail, if we eventually added a parking space to the west of what we currently have, it will, one, hopefully we can have signage saying office entry here and event entry there, because how many people have walked in when an event is happening and you feel like you just crashed someone's party? So we'd like to have office entry, event entry. But then if we had that parking to the west, we could also maybe do a sidewalk for easy parking and access to the trail from that point as well as maybe the parking that we're thinking elsewhere. So that's our wish list. It could be bigger. but we're trying to be realistic. So, thank you much. Any other?
Yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, I do, Trish.
Yeah.
Just seems like not that long ago, we were talking about maybe what this thing could be, and then we got started, and we got it built, and over the last 3 years, I think we've kind of hit a good stride
Exactly.
out there.
Mhm.
And thanks to you and your
Thank you.
team for that. But if we start to look ahead, what's left out there for possibilities in relationship to what either the community or the area could benefit from the use of this facility? What options are out there? Are you seeing any options?
I think that we could possibly host some more events. The struggle that we have now is maintaining the events that we do have that come in, and keeping up with those and the demand of those and the time it takes to fulfill those. If we had, like right now, our cleaning crew, everyone is part-time except for Brooke and I. So in December, we have 4 events back to back to back to back. It's a 350, 100, 250, 300, something along those lines.
Mhm.
Before we took those, we have to think what staff can work because everybody else has jobs or school.
Right.
So we have to think through the logistics of our cleaning crew. What is their schedule? Are they able to come in? Our setup crew, our tear down crew. Because Brooke and I, we're pretty strong and we think we can do it all, but we can't do it all. So if there were more time in the day to think and be a little more creative, I think that we could offer more things, maybe continued in a partnership with NCC and help them to determine what things we can offer to the public, other than some of the classes that they'll bring to us. So I just think there's more opportunity. We had dance classes that are taking off in Orange City and Sioux Center, just learn how to swing dance, and it's a real simple event. They come play the music, teach the people, they charge a fee, they pay the rent, but it's never worked out for them to come within our schedule. But there's simple, fun, community, family type needs that we probably could pursue more if we just had that time.
Sure.
So what I'm getting at is, in time, we're doing great with what we have, but if we ever want to be more and fulfill that calendar more, it's going to take more manpower and more hours. Mhm.
One thought I had of my own was, is there a way to, I guess, dovetail that facility into more tourism promotion?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people pass by us,
Sure.
only know Sheldon for what's off of the intersection there, off of 60. And we're getting 20,000 people coming through the door.
Mhm.
Is there anything that would have a day use opportunity to where we could promote, the community and local area tourism and stuff of that
I'm sure we
nature?
can think something out and ponder those ideas and make something happen.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering, because,
Well, and then another thing that we're doing is we're trying to work along with rec trails and the park and the SCDC
right,
when it comes to that space and defining its purpose. I don't like to say to develop that space, because we really don't want to develop. We want to give definition and maybe add some amenities here and there that may add to tourism and attraction, where we can host daytime stuff, maybe a little more outdoor as well. But it's great to start thinking and dreaming outside the box, and that's why I wish we had more time to do that.
right.
But we don't always have that. That's why if other people have ideas, we're welcome to suggestion and come in and help us, because we don't get stuck in a rut. We just get stuck in the day-to-day grind to keep up with what we have at hand.
And I'm sure you use your board to help with all
Mhm.
that as well.
Sure,
So,
we'll take their input as well.
good. Well, thanks for your
Great,
time
Pete,
today.
Wayne. Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tricia.
Okay. Yep.
Thanks, Trish.
Mhm.
All right, next item is the introduction of the capital improvement plan. Is that you?
It can be.
All right. Go ahead.
So this is an important document for the budget. Funding sources are not identified in a CIP. The idea today is to simply introduce it, and then you can discuss it again the next meeting. There also is not pressure to finish it at the next meeting either, but it would be good to have it wrapped up by the end of the year or the first meeting in January. So, are there any questions? Todd, do you want to touch on some of the public works items? You and I had a conversation the other day about how much has been spent on urban renewal on streets over the last number of years. Many items that were in the CIP have been funded by TIF. If you wanted to touch on the positive nature of that and what's coming.
Sure. Well, there's several street projects in the CIP, obviously, but yeah, what Sam's referring to is him and I have been working on the urban renewal modification or change, and as we were going through that, we started marking off projects that were done that were urban renewal related, and I just to show the impact of what we've been able to get done the last couple of years using urban renewal pack, I just jotted down. I think all these but two have some sort of urban renewal funds in them. So the downtown alley and parking lot project, the downtown HMA project, which is 10th Street, 11th Street, 3rd Ave, and 4th Ave, the Highway 18 and 34th Avenue traffic signal, Phase 2 of the Crossroads Business Park, completion of the Floyd Industrial Park expansion, reconstruction of North 18th Avenue, reconstruction of Oak Street from North 18th to Washington, reconstruction of Pine Street from 2nd to 5th, reconstruction of North 5th Avenue, reconstruction of South 3rd Avenue by the post office, the airport runway and rehabilitation project, the airport fuel system upgrade, patching projects at East 6th and 23rd and 26th Avenue, Rainbow Drive reconstruction, water tower, the 1.5 mile of pipeline for the water tower, the water plant upgrade and pump room remodel for the blending of the Lewis and Clark water, the new trail out by the pavilion, several crack seals, chip seals, asphalt overlays, etc., and 2 lift station remodels. About fell out of my chair when I started marking done on that report. We've got a lot of things done, and most of those things, you know, started at some point as a vision in the CIP. We don't always nail the year, and we don't always nail the price, but we do try to lay out, I guess, a buffet of options for council to choose from come budget time. And I think this plan, at least from my departments, reflects that as well. So lots of good things have been done over the last couple of years, and hopefully we can continue on the path.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other comments or questions on the CIP?
I need to look at it, of course, more detail, but it looks just from a first glance that we've got lots to talk about, so it's good. Appreciate the effort.
I guess the other thing that I wonder about is at some point, should we take a breath and say, let's look at the overall situation and what should we as a community of 5,500 people be expected to provide? And I don't have an answer for that. Well, I have no expertise, and I wonder if we shouldn't find some way to decide what's expected of a community this size. Don't know. Interesting.
Are you asking that question in terms of adding things or maintaining what we have, or all of the above?
Mostly about adding things, but I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you maintain what you have.
Mhm.
But I don't know, it's just troubling to me. So we'll see.
All right. Anything else on the CIP? All right, then let's move on to the reports, starting with you, Sam. Anything you all have to add?
I do, very quickly. Steve Halgren, I apologize. I asked you to drive all the way over here for the meeting, and then I got distracted, but I would like to, if it's all right, Steve, I'd like you to just give us a very brief update on the, you can skip over the elevator text amendment, because that's, we're all on the same page on that one, but the PUD,
Sure.
why don't you explain it very briefly, and then you can skip the next council meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me over tonight. But the planned unit development, in a nutshell, it's an opportunity for the city to entertain development projects that ordinarily don't fit within the typical context of zoning regulations of a specific district. So a lot of times we're talking about a mixed-use type development, either mixing residential with commercial uses, something along those lines, or potentially a development project on a unique type of property that would otherwise be difficult to develop under the traditional zoning regulations. So in lieu of having to go through the variance process, which is intended to be a very difficult process to prove a hardship, and asking for multiple variances on a particular development project, planned unit development goes through the development process and gives greater flexibility to certain projects to be able to accommodate the needs of those projects. So what we accomplished with the ordinance tonight by you guys adopting the first reading of it is PUDs typically have not been utilized a whole lot in Sheldon. Some of that was tied to the minimum lot sizes, the minimum development regulations. So we shrunk the minimum lot size developments down on residential, commercial properties, thinking that there may be a greater opportunity with infill development in older parts of the community. If there are areas where properties are either being removed, creating an opportunity for infill development, that might open up a possibility for a planned development. We also do see planned unit developments in newer developed areas out by like Sheldon Crossing, for example, for the potential for mixed-use developments. So that, in a nutshell, is really what we tried to accomplish with the ordinance, is give the city a little bit more flexibility and give the city an opportunity to talk with future developers that this might be an option. So as far as procedurally, we're not changing anything procedurally. Still has to go through the Board of Adjustment for approval. Still has to follow all the rules that have already been set in place in the city zoning regulations. We're not changing any of the procedural aspects. We're just changing some of the minimum requirements, essentially what we're looking at. So, I'd be glad to entertain any questions. Thank you.
Are there any past development projects that this would have helped or streamlined the process?
The original Bethel Church proposal.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best example recently that I've been involved with too. Sam mentioned it, but you know, it's an infill development on a property in town, and the original project, like townhomes, if you guys recall that proposal, would have been an ideal situation for a planned development type project. And if the city recalls, we ended up taking like 8 or 10 variance requests before the Board of Adjustment. It was a lot of variances because there was just a lot of little nuances that didn't fit. Lot sizes weren't big enough, yard setbacks weren't big enough. They just, you know, the way the developers wanted to come in and work with the property, a planned development would have been ideal. The one thing to remember about planned development projects too is the developer has to come in with a set development plan proposal to the city. And once that development plan proposal is approved through the PUD process, they're committed to that. They can't just up and say, oh, we decided to alter the project, or, oh, we decided to change this or change that. They're committed to that development plan as part of the plan. So there is a proper and an adequate amount of oversight work on the project well before it even goes to the board of adjustment consideration.
Okay. That helps when you put it into a real-life application. So, any other questions? No? Okay. All right, thank you for your being here today and for that explanation. Anything else?
No, sir.
From you? Todd, do you have anything? Mark? Angie?
No, thank you.
All right, council to my left. And to my right.
No, sir.
All right. And I have nothing either, so a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
Farah.